আজ ক্লাস 10-এর লেসন 6টা পড়াবো। সি ফিভার বাই জন ম্যাসফিল্ড। Sea fever, the title is very significant. Sea fever. So fever, it means a kind of disease. We know that. But here sea fever means that love for the sea. So the poet here wants to go to the sea, and the sea is as if calling him to go there. So that is that feeling, that kind of emotion for going to the sea is named as sea fever. So great desire, great longing for going to the sea has been mentioned by the title Sea Fever. Regarding the poet, it can be said that John Masefield himself was a sailor. So he had first an experience of sea life, or how a sailor spends time on the sea, in the sea. So that on the basis of that experience, he just here narrates what goes on in the mind of the sailor, and how he experiences, how he feels when he's on the sea. That has been described here. So in the introduction section, there are three lines. In the last three lines, that is very important. That is the theme of the poem. The poem speaks of the excitement the poet feels at the anticipation of a sea voyage. So, as I was telling earlier, that the poet feels a great happiness for going to the sea. The passionate description of the seascape. Seascape means the sea, the face of the surface of the sea, reveals the eternal desire of man to seek the splendor of nature. So it's man's eternal desire, eternal longing, eternal intention to go to the sea and explore the sea. So that desire has been exposed, has been given words in the poem Sea Fever by John Masefield. Listen. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. I must go down. So the very expression first person narrative it is. I means, you can refer to the poet, I, or the speaker, you must say. The speaker said that he must go down. Must means here is stressing, underlying. I must go down to the seas again. So again means that already the poet has already, or the speaker has already visited the sea. So this time he is just again he is visiting. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky. The sea is lonely. So here is a melancholy state, because sea is, if someone is alone, then we feel sorry for that. So the sea is lonely. So that's why the description of the sea is given over here, as if the sea, without finding any kind of sailor, he feels quite unhappy. To the lonely sea and the sky. The sky is open and the sea is wide also. And all I ask is a tall ship. So the poet needs a ship to for the sea voyage. So a tall ship, a big ship, and a star to steer her by. A star, he needs a star. Star means the northern star, the pole star. To steer her by. Steer means to drive it forward, to propel it. And the wheels kick. Wheels means the steering. The wheels kick, and the wind song, and the white sail shaking. So here is personification. The wheel is kicking, as if the human qualities are attributed. Wheel is kicking. So human being, the kick. Wheels kick, and the wheels kick, and the wind song. The wind is singing. So human quality. Wind as if a human being. And the white sails shaking. White sails, you know that in the ship there's no engine in those times. So that's why it is the sails are there. So these sails are shaking because the wind is blowing. So white color, the color of the sail is white. The white sail shaking. So as if this is there is also musical alliteration. Ace, the sail shaking. So ace is repeated. Okay. So alliteration, musical quality is there. And a grey mist on the sea's face. So perhaps it is the dawn time. So grey mist is on the face of the sea. So grey is a color of melancholy, you know that. So the sea, as if the sea is also said to be a human, having human quality. So sea's face is grey one. So sea has the face. So human being has face. Sea has the face. And grey mist. Mist means the fog. So grey. Perhaps it is the early time. It is dawn. That's why it is not the atmosphere is not quite clear one. A grey mist on the sea's face, and grey dawn breaking. I'm telling it, grey dawn breaking. So the dawn is getting clear gradually. I must go down to the seas again. So again, in every stanza, this expression is repeated. In the first stanza there was I must go down to the seas again. Here in the second stanza also, it starts with I must go down to the seas again. So he is stressing, he's underlying the passion to go to the sea. But the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. So the tide, the waves are waves as if calling the poet to visit the sea. It's a wild call. Wild means that it's this call cannot be cannot be just restricted. And a clear call, this is quite clear one, and this call cannot be denied. If the tide has also been personified, that if tide gives such a call, this call cannot be denied. We cannot just stop ourselves from responding to such a call. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying. Windy day, the day has to be, the wind should be there, because this ship runs by sail, that's why there should be sufficient wind. And the white clouds flying, the clouds should be white. If it is gray cloud, then there is a possibility of storm and rain. So if the white clouds fly, it means that the weather is quite favorable one for the journey. White clouds flying. So all I ask is a windy day and the white clouds flying. So the poet as if urge nature to provide this thing, windy day and the white clouds flying. If the cloud is white, then they won't have any problem for the journey. And the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. Flung spray, so when the waves it strikes strike the ship, then the water just spills and it looks like it's as if spraying. And blown spume is the water bubbles burst, it burst when it becomes bigger. So blown spume. And the seagulls crying, seagulls is a kind of bird, it is crying. So so its voice can be heard. So it is the all the sense organs perhaps have been employed here. So seagulls crying, so hearing sense organ. And blown spume, you can just spume means that it is just touching your own, so you can just feel the salty feeling, because the water tastes salty, that's why. And windy day, the wind is blowing, it is touching the skin, so another tactile. Okay, so all these organs have been employed here in the second stanza. I must go down to the seas again. Again, the repetition of the expression I must. So it is stressing. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life. Vagrant gypsy life. Vagrant means that gypsy life is a life of freedom, eternal freedom. Vagrant means that they have no purpose, particular fixed purpose. That's why vagrant gypsy life. Aimless people are said to be vagrant. So I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life. So as the life of a sailors on sea is like that of a life of a gypsy. So gypsy, they enjoy the life of freedom and they live in their own way. So similarly, the poet feels that he would live in the same fashion, in his own way. He would also live a life of eternal freedom and on the sea, without any kind of worry, without any kind of hindrance from anybody. So such a life he is preferring. To the girl's way, and he would go to the way the seagulls are going, to that way he would visit. The whale's way, and the whales, that where the whales is going, the poet would like to visit there, because these are the life of the freedom. The birds, they are just flying in its own sweet whim. So and the whale is also just moving on the sea in its on its own sweet whim, so desire, on its own desire. So such a life the poet is wishing to have. But the wind is like a whetted knife. So there is, the tone is changed a bit here. But the wind is like a whetted knife. So he would visit to the whale's way, and there is, the wind is quite sharp on. It is as if striking, as if a sharp knife, as it strikes the skin. In the same way, the cold wind is such, it is as if pinching the skin. So that's why the tone is changed. So but the wind is quite cold one, as if a whetted knife. So I would like to visit there. So the poet is just is not afraid of the challenge of the weather, challenge of the atmosphere. He would visit there in spite of all this hazard. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover. Merry yarn means a sweet, yarn means story, sweet story, a cheerful story. All I want, a cheerful story from a laughing fellow rover. Laughing fellow rover means, the rover means the sailor. Fellow rover means a comrade, a friend, a colleague one. Laughing fellow rover, he would be quite cheerful one, he would not be quite gloomy one. So I want a story from a laughing fellow rover. and a quiet sleep. The tone is changed also in the last line. Quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick is over. Quiet sleep means the eternal sleep. This sleep comes after death. And a sweet dream or life after death. So that dream I want when the long trick is over. Trick means journey, the sea journey. So life is so the metaphor that has been used here is that when the long trick is over, when the long sea voyage is over, so I want a sweet sleep. So means that sleep means death here. So metaphorically it means death. When the long trick is over, long journey or life journey. Long journey is when our long life journey is over, I want a sweet sleep. And sweet sleep and perfect happiness can be gained when we die. Only that time we can have eternal peace and good sleep. Okay, so that is the whole poem. We'll discuss further if you when you will when will be available in the WhatsApp. Okay, you may ask me question over there. Okay, bye.